So in one of the talks I saw that you gave, you mentioned a concept about the relationship between nations in the Pacific and how they're broader than the Western ideals of a nation state. Could you elaborate on that a little bit further?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we were to look, for me, I consider ourselves as Pacific peoples as citizens of an ocean state, if you like. I mean, it is the ocean that actually connects us. We have these little dots of land out there in the Pacific, and so our relationships to the ocean and our relationship to each other, because if you look at the broader history of the Pacific, we are all connected in some way. And so I see New Zealand as just another Pacific island. We're on an island here, Te Maui, and we have Te Waipounamu, but these are also islands which are in the Pacific as well. And I would like to see us refocus the way that we as people that live in Aotearoa, how we look at ourselves and how we look at ourselves in the relationship to the Pacific. So I guess I see that way as a really different way of pivoting in terms of how we would understand ourselves, but also how we might pivot towards the future as well.
I mean, this is something that we as Pacific people have known for a very long time, that we are related to one another.
We just have to be louder and more bolder and prouder about it, I think, as well. Because the other thing I think is what's really unusual, I think I've found about New Zealand is when I have lived overseas, it's one of the only countries in the world where you have a large percentage of the population that are only monolingual. You have, a lot of people here only speak English, and that is really, really unusual in the world. You walk around Sydney, you're going to hear 50 different languages, London, and of course all throughout the islands. Yet we have the most culturally, linguistically diverse populations here in the Pacific. I mean, the Solomon Islands, they speak umpteen number of languages, and there are around about 1,000 in Papua as well. Yeah, and then of course, like in the Cook Islands, where I'm from, there's linguistic diversity is there as well, with Puka Puka and then Rarotongan, and then of course what they speak up in Tongareva as well. So it's a good thing, and it's an aspirational thing, and I think it's the way that we understand ourselves, our place in the world, and where we should be actually organising ourselves in the future.